Contest of Vancouver last night and lost 5-1. The Indians and Canadians meet up again tonight at Avista Stadium at 6:35.
Ben the Bear from Valley. VIP auto sales with an important message. If you're in the market for a car, truck, or SUV, whatever you do, don't buy brand new. Go to Valley. VIP auto sales. You save so much money. You could save enough to buy a house. Think new to you. Think Valley. VIP auto sales. The chemicals that cause new car smell can be toxic and may cause health problems. Whatever you do, don't buy new. Go to Valley. VIP auto sales. Don't worry about repairs. Buying a pre-owned vehicle. Stay protected with a low-cost service contract that works like a warranty. Take your vehicle to the shop of your choice when needed and just pay the deductible at Valley. VIP auto sales. Our team of lenders will find the best interest rate with the lowest payment possible. Come in today, put nothing down, and make no payment for 60 days. Genius. Whatever you do, don't buy new. Go to Valley. VIP auto sales.
All financing on approved credit.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandswimspasale.com.
Sale sponsored by Hot Productions.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Want a gift for mom that lasts? Rhino Linings of Spokane has you covered. Their sprayed-on truck bed linings outperform plastic drop-ins. No cracking, no peeling, just tough protection for years. And right now, for Mother's Day, get $50 off your truck liner. Rhino Linings of Spokane, 5505 East Trent in the Spokane Valley. Rhino Linings of Spokane, bed covers to truck steps to mud flaps and more.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I don't care what the scoreboard says. At the end of the game, we're going to be winners.
Broadcasting from the Turf Club Sportsbook at Northern Quest Resort and Casino Studios. This is 700 ESPN 105.3 FM.
PXN Missouri Heights, Spokane. Mariners getting back to business tonight. Game 1 of a 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. They'll send Luis Castillo out to the hill. You'll catch all of the action of that one beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show right here. Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, games that are underway right now. Top of the second in Pittsburgh. No score between the Braves and the Pirates. They're in the bottom of the second in Texas, where the Tigers and Rangers. No score there as well. Top of the first in Washington. Cardinals up 2-0 on the Nationals. Still to come, Rays playing host to the Brewers. It's Cubs on the road taking on the Mets. Phillies in Cleveland to face the Guardians. Royals hosting the Red Sox. White Sox playing host to the Marlins. Astros and Reds get together in Houston. The Giants and Twins in Minnesota. It's the Rockies looking for win number 7 on the season. They are 6-31. They are hosting the San Diego Padres. Angels in Anaheim playing host to the Orioles. Dodgers and Diamondbacks in Arizona. And last one of the night will be the A's playing host to the New York Yankees.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at Edgar's Cantina here at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. You got the Mariners and Blue Jays getting set to kick things off game 1 of their 3-game series. We'll turn you to the pregame show coming up at 5:30, and joining us now on set is our Mariners insider, Shannon Dreher. Hello, Shannon.
Hi, guys.
What's the give us the vibe in that clubhouse coming off of 9 consecutive series wins? Is it just singing and dancing and cartwheels? What's happening in there?
Backflips, jugglers,
clowns,
accordion music. Yeah. You know what? I think they are. They're obviously having a good time. Winning is fun. They have a lot of belief in each other, so it's even better to win when you like the guys that are around you. I think that it is now kind of to where it's a point where, okay, this is who we are. And so, it's not one of those we have to over-celebrate because we don't celebrate very often or anything like that. It's just an absolutely fantastic group that are together, that they do celebrate the wins, and then they get on to the next game, and they don't worry about too much right now. They've been so tested with the players that they've lost, and to pick up how many times now and keep going and keep winning. I think they're in a really, really good place.
All right, I'm gonna go right off the bat with a Julio question, and I'm sure you get those all the time. But
who?
Julio. He's got 6 games in a row with no strikeouts. There was an at bat that he had where he swung at the first pitch, works a walk out of it. I thought maybe that's something, but where do you think he is right now?
I think it's huge. I mean, I don't think you'd ever say he'd go 6 games without a strikeout. I think that's big for him. I think when he makes contact, he is hitting the ball hard. I think trying to get it up in the air perhaps a little bit more is something that's going to help him. But there is no need for him. He's contributing. I mean, he is doing, he's had some hits. It's just not the big hits right now. He's doing great things in the field.
Fantastic fielder, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's not forget that he turned himself into a center fielder. That wasn't their plan. That was his plan. So that's a pretty cool thing right there. He decided, I'm going to play center field, and it's going to be fantastic. And that's what he told me the year before, as down in the minor leagues, which I'm like, okay, kid, you go for it. But I think that, with the progression, with the way that he's going right now, that he's not getting jumpy at the plate, and that he is, his numbers, he's hitting just 300, I think, for the past 8 games.
Yeah.
So now you look to see, okay, what follows with that. He's doing everything right. Let's see what follows. And there's not a lot of pressure on him because they're winning and everybody is contributing, as is he.
Well, and he's kind of quietly been getting hot. I mean, he's got back-to-back games with multiple hits. He's had at least 1 hit in 14 of the last 18 games.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, 6 games in a row. Month of May, he's not struck out yet in the month of May. So quietly getting hot.
Neither have we.
Yeah, we got the same number of strikeouts as Julio right now. We're doing well. We're doing really well. How much do we've talked a lot about where does the credit go for what we're seeing offensively. It's weird the numbers have completely flipped when you look at where they rank in all these offensive categories. They're top 10 in just about all of them. and you look at where they rank in the pitching categories, and they're middle of the pack to lower. I mean, it's completely flipped from what they've been. But looking at the offense, and specifically you're looking at JP and Polanco, I'm going, all right, how much is Edgar and Seitzer, and how much of it is just these guys being healthy? Both guys that are dealing with injuries, and certainly Polanco still dealing with it up until recently. He's just now hitting from the right side. But how do you divvy up the credit, if you will, for what we're seeing specifically with those guys?
Well, I think it is important what we're seeing from JP, which obviously JP you credit with that, and I credit his patience because he did get off to a slow start. He didn't change anything, and so now there's a lot of confidence in what he's doing. Polanco's a little bit different in that they made a change with him that has really paid off. What he's doing is stance at the plate and, then pick up the approach from there. But that's been huge for him, and that go ahead and credit the coaches, and Edgar and Seitz are taking a look at, you're way too open there, there's too much movement, let's close that up a little bit, see what happens, and now he can stay up the middle more, and it's something that's really paid off for him, and he's hit the ball hard every time he makes contact. He's been making a ton of contact, which is great, so he's kind of a mix of both, but then, it is the approach plays into it. The simplifying of everything plays into it. And the more I see it, the more I kind of realize how complicated everything was last year. And, just kind of peel away the things that they don't need. And it helps when you're looking for credit that, again, they're all sticking with the plan. And you don't have any one guy or any one section of the lineup that, man, if they don't get it here, they're not going to get a run. So that kind of all of a sudden contributes to what they're able to do as individuals. And then when everybody's doing it, then you are a real threat to the pitcher on the other side. There are just no breaks. It's like you have the big guys at the top. They've got a good 1 through 4, 1 through 5, and the guys at the bottom are pesky. And so you just can't let up on the other side. And, they've forced, we talk about some of the good pitchers that they've gotten to. Maybe it plays out tonight against Gosman. And you're like, why are they able to get to these guys? Well, part of it is the at-bats are so good. They get those starters into situations that they're not in very much. They're not used to having to go 4, 5, 6 deep and more with a pitcher. And sometimes they get out of their game a little bit, or sometimes they end up, flipping something up there that they shouldn't, and they're ready for it. And so I think that, there are the individual performances as we talked about, but I think that the fact that they were able to come up with a philosophy and we're going to simplify, and this is how we're going to do it, and then get the buy-in, and there's coaching that goes into that. You have to have the trust of your players. It's a very collaborative effort.
It's very cool to watch, just because when you see an athlete get unlocked, it's like something was holding him back, and I think we might get that with the Seahawks this year and their quarterback. But what do you make of Bryce Miller and just some of the things that he's said? Talking about tightness and physical things, and get the feeling that it's mental, but I'm not with him on the road. What have you seen from him? What do you make of that?
It's really amazing, and it's kind of the beauty and sometimes the worst part of this sport. At any time, the player can make it look as easy as it possibly can be, and that was Bryce Miller for 4 months last year. He had a rocky first 2 months of the season, and then was one of the best pitchers in baseball after that, and really didn't make huge adjustments. A lot of that was more on the mental side, and just kind of recommitting to some things and really kind of honing in on what he was doing and not trying to do too much out there. And the struggle that he's gotten off to, none of us saw it in spring training. So that's got to be even more of a shock for him, because he puts in the work in the offseason, looked fine in spring training, and I think he's to a point where, it's hard to go out there when you're not feeling good, but it's your job. If you're not injured, there's a big difference between actually being hurt and injured and just not feeling good or being sore or something like that. So I think, that makes it that much tougher for him. And I think you do start to see a little bit of a snowball. You see him fight because he's not giving up home runs right now. He's not giving up a ton of runs in most outings. It's just a matter of you need more than 4 innings from him. It's taking a lot to get through it. His out pitches aren't as sharp as they were, so he's, I think it all kind of snowballs with him. And you do wonder, do you stop? Do you start over? What do you do? Yeah. And then I remember he worked his way out of it. It wasn't as extreme last year, but he did work his way out of it last year. So I think because of what we're seeing, that I think maybe this might fall into he needs one good outing. Yeah. Let's see where it goes from there.
What are your the bullpen has been interesting because Munoz has just been phenomenal. Just love the guy as a person and as a player, obviously. But getting Brash back is huge. It looks like they're very deliberate in how they're going to use him, and we'll see what the pace is going to be like. But in high leverage situations that perhaps he's not available, who do you like there? For me, it's Vargas or it's Spire, I guess, depending on a lefty, what happens. But those are the two arms I trust the most outside of Munoz in that bullpen. But what if Munoz, say he's gone a couple nights in a row, they need somebody else to close, and then Brash isn't there? Who's your guy?
I think what Vargas did the other day in Sacramento was one of the highlights of the season for me. I mean, just seeing a guy that barely made the team. Like, he wasn't on everybody's ballot to get the final spot in that bullpen. Ton of good stuff and ton of talent. No options, so he would be gone if somebody had picked him up at that point. And command had been an issue with him all of the time. And now the command is not an issue, and the great stuff is there. And the confidence is building. And I also love that he can give you multiple innings if you need it. He's done that a few times. So I think that he's gained trust rapidly. And the other thing that we've seen with him that I really like is that if he does get into trouble, he doesn't crumble. He kind of plows through it. And we saw that. He was pitching after pitching 2 innings the night before in Game 3 in Sacramento, got the 2 strikeouts. It looked, he was this close to striking out the side. And the next thing you know, he's got 2 base runners in a 2-run game. And he came back and he got the out, and it was fantastic. So I feel good about that. I feel good about Spire in just about any situation. He hasn't been available every game. I think he's had some minor dings and dents early on. So I think that kind of plays into when you don't see him. I think that has something to do with it. And I think that Brash you're going to be careful about. I don't know if Cal talking about Brash made the Wyman and Bob edit. I thought that was very interesting and very insightful that, he doesn't expect Brash to be the Brash that we saw 2 years ago for some time. That's going to take some time and working into it and getting into situations and getting all the feels, he said. And so I thought that was interesting. So they will continue to be careful with him, and I'm not sure what to expect when he gets into the games right now.
Whatever questions you're asking Cal, he just has opened up and spills out. We thought he was a man of few words, but done a good job with those. What's the most interesting thing you've learned from Cal?
Did the cowboy boot story make the edit?
Yeah, we heard that one.
You were unprepared.
So the trainer needed to help him take his boots off?
Yes,
right?
because he forgot the what do you call it, a boot jack or a shoe jack? A shoehorn. He wears the boots when we go to Texas, and sometimes the cowboy hat too. And he got new boots, and why wouldn't he? He deserves some new boots. Why not? And they got him, and apparently they had to get pulled off in the lobby.
So you need a special tool to take cowboy boots off?
Brand new ones, probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard the Cowboys will put on their boots and then fill them with water and walk around with
to break them in?
Yeah, for like a day.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
that sounds like way too much work.
Straight on the IL if you do that. Yeah. I don't want to see that happen at all.
Wow. When you talk to him, do you let him know how much Dave loves him, or does that ever come up?
No, I could. I'm open to questions and topics. So if you would like me to bring that up.
Doesn't everybody love Cal?
Yes.
Most of us love him, and then there's you.
It's
a different level, Dave.
Yeah. Don't make it creepy. He's making it creepy, Shannon.
No, but everybody does love Cal for good reason. And I'm curious, what do you think of his defense this year? We all focus on his offense, but just his, throwing runners out, his pitch framing, throwing runners out is always a hard one because I think we automatically look at the catcher when they don't beat the runner, and often we're not paying attention to the pitcher who's not maybe doing a great job of holding the runner on. They're slow to the plate. But just from your perspective, that part of his game.
I think it's where it should be. I like that. I talked to the Munoz I think early on in the road trip, and he said that's been a big focus of his. That's where he's at. And usually that's the last thing a reliever gets to is controlling the running game. And he said it wasn't fair for Cal. And so he wanted to step up his game the rare times that he was getting runners on base right now. So that certainly helps. I think his awareness out there has been good. I have not looked at the pitch framing numbers, so I'll be honest on that. I'm assuming they're where they should be. So nothing has stood out either way with him. He's got, is he going to win another platinum glove this year? He set the bar awfully high last year.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I mean, when you look at predictions, Shannon, we just we had, who was it that predicted? Oh, it was our guy DeRosa picked someone other than the Mariners in the AL West. But you look at the offensive numbers being, way outstripping the pitching numbers, and the pitching part of it. I mean, you got to get Bryce Miller worked out, but you've got Logan coming back and you've got Kirby coming back. I don't know. I just surprised that people aren't looking at that and making more, predictions of Mariners winning the AL West. It's kind of surprising to me.
Well, I think particularly with Logan and with Kirby, I've got to see him on the mound in a big league game before I feel 100% with that. Kirby, you feel really good about right now. We've seen him around quite a bit, and he's just raring to go. Yeah. They're going to make him he starts tomorrow in Tacoma. They're going to make him throw one more after that, and I think that's a good idea. And I think there's no question they can do it because the club's kept things up for them. It's like, hey, don't worry, we'll be here when you're ready. And that's huge. That's not putting pressure on anybody to do anything. And then Logan, it seems like everything is going well, but you still just hold your breath on that until you see him just really unleash everything in a big league game. So I don't want to put the horse ahead. The cart
ahead of the horse.
Yeah, horse stays behind the cart. No, horse is in front of the cart.
Front of the cart. That's right.
Yes.
Keep the cart behind the horse.
I like how you talked
that through. You talked it through. That's good.
You don't see many carts and horses anymore. So
Hey, one of the guys that I think is a bit of an unsung hero has been Emerson Hancock. I mean, the first appearance obviously was a disaster. It didn't go well. He gets sent down after 2/3 of an inning. And he comes back and he's exactly what he was last season outside of 2 starts. He was a guy that was just consistently 5 to 6 innings, 2 to 3 runs, quality starts, his ceiling doesn't seem as high as the rest of the rotation, looking at Kirby and Logan and those guys. He's not as electric, if you will, but he's so rock steady that I feel like every time you send him out to the hill, you know what you're going to get. He's going to keep you in the game. Just your thoughts on what you've seen from him post that first start.
Yeah, I saw it in spring training, too. The first start was just, you have to throw it away. And I don't think that he really changed much. I think he just kind of went to work down in Tacoma. But he's in a place right now where he feels that he belongs. And it's an odd position for him to be in because there just really isn't a spot. And let's remember, he's a first rounder. He was the guy. He was the first pick. And to see him kind of work his way through all of this and get up to the big leagues, the first time and find out that he doesn't quite have everything he needs for it. It's very north-south. It has plus change-up, but if that's not on, he might be in trouble. Needs to have that four-seamer at the top rail, and sometimes he doesn't have that, and then that can be a bit of a problem. And he's also a guy that's going to he needs to put the ball in play. He's not a strikeout guy, which is a scary thing to do at the big league level. That means you gotta go after everybody. We're seeing him do that, and he's also worked on a bunch of different breaking pitches in the off season. It looks like he's kind of zeroed in on the slider and the sweeper, and some starts the slider is better and some starts the sweeper is better. He'll usually use both of them. I'm interested to see where he goes because I don't think he's quite a finished product yet. Either or, it's a project ahead of the cart.
It's a project that's in the cart.
Cart with the horse, and so I want to see if those pitches, he's legitimately added them to his arsenal. Are they something that are going to benefit him, and what that does overall for his repertoire and what he is able to do at the big league level. I think the mental part is there, and that's a big part of it.
So was it as Mickey Mouse in Sacramento as you thought it would be? As my dad used to call things that were like cheesy or cheap or...
Yeah. I had to be reminded because it was all about me the first day and all the hassles that I had to deal with and danger, all-out danger, to get to the clubhouse where you did nothing in front of the dugout on that side of a stadium early in the day. Everything was over on the other side because that's where the clubhouse was and the batting cages were. But to get there, you had to walk around the warning track. Well, I don't like sitting here while they're taking batting practice. I don't like walking around.
They were taking batting practice.
Yes, every time. It's like you'd have to go back there twice, probably each game, and you could be a target. And
Did you wear a helmet?
No, and I
You have a
survived. I took Freddie Janos with me, and I'm like, you were protecting me. You know? And
Poor Freddie.
He's just a
He's going
big
to dive in
target.
front of. He's like a Secret Service.
Yeah.
he said he
Yeah.
would. I'm not sure he would for sure. Luckily, that didn't. So that I didn't like. But somebody reminded me, yeah, but what was it like for the fans? I'm like, oh, the fans.
Oh, yeah, them.
I ended up getting behind home plate for the third game for the walk-off interview, and there was a fan, and I'm like, are these your tickets? And he said, yes. And can you imagine getting to sit that close? It's like cut the distance in half
Yeah.
to home plate here, and that's
Yeah.
where he's sitting. And it's just like you can see pitches like nowhere else. He's just 20 feet behind the catcher, if that. And to see every big league team come in and just have that view, and even anywhere in the stadium, because there's no deck. I mean, you've got a great seat everywhere. You're not going to get closer in most instances, or if you want to go sit out on a berm like spring training, but these are real games.
Yeah.
And it is different. So along those lines, it was cool. I think that the
Clubhouse is nicer than the Coliseum, right?
it's smaller. The locker room area is smaller, but everything else, from what everybody said, was upgraded from. It wasn't as old. It was newer. They actually have a kitchen in there. They didn't have a kitchen in the other one. So I think the guys were fine with that. But, I mean, it was just funny sight to see, what was it, the fourth inning when all the pinch hitters ran across the field. We're all like, where are they going?
Cal
Gary's
and Rowdy
like,
and all
they
the-
have to, they're going to the cages, you know? And then that's all I do the next two innings is watch the center field wall to see when they come back, you know, because you don't see that. So it's pretty wild. We'll see how long they're there.
Hey, give me a quick thought before you leave on Dan Wilson and how you think he's done this year. He's had a couple of moments where I've been in front of the TV going, I don't understand. But for the most part, I mean, look, the results are the results. They're in first place. They're winning.
Exactly.
But just from your perspective, how do you feel like he's been doing?
Yeah, same thing. I think there have been a couple of inexplicable moves, and, you know, he said that game in Sacramento was on him. Okay, good enough. You know, move on. Bullpen moves, and I always caution because you do not know who is available, but
Right.
he has, I think, tried to put people into more solid roles, and maybe that's why they're having the success that they're having right now. He has not brought Munoz in for an extra inning type save situation yet, which I think is good. He said he's not opposed to it. It's more been he hasn't seen too many instances where he would need to do that. I think there were one or two where it could have been considered, but I think he's really kind of solidifying things. We see it in the lineup. The top of the lineup has been the same. Substitutions have been pretty much the same. And I do think that kind of settles a player a little bit. Be a reliever, be a guy in the lineup, be a starter, be a backup. I think that perhaps helps a little bit. And on Dan's part, he's got to have patience when he does that, particularly at the beginning of the year. And I think he's shown a lot of that, and I think it's being rewarded.
Shannon, we appreciate it, as always.
You've got it. I've got to go talk to the folks in Toronto now.
Okay, go talk to
Want me
Toronto.
to pass on a message or anything?
We hope they lose.
Tell them to shut their fans up.
And enjoy their time here, despite the losses.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Shannon. There's our Mariners insider, Shannon Dreyer, joining us here on set. Meanwhile, does the Seahawks pick of Gray Zabel signal a change in how they prioritize the O-line? We're going to weigh in on that coming up next, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
I'm Steve the Wingman with the 700 ESPN Spokane Sports Center. The Spokane Chiefs take the ice tonight in Medicine Hat for Game 1 of the Western Hockey League Championship Series. The Chiefs and Tigers only met once in the regular season. Medicine Hat scored 3 third-period goals to come away with a 3-2 victory in Spokane in January. The puck drops tonight north of the border at 6 o'clock. The Seattle Mariners are back at T-Mobile Park, and they start a 6-game homestand tonight with the first of 3 against Toronto. The Blue Jays start the weekend in third place in the AL East with a 17-20 record. The Mariners are 22-14 and have a 3-game lead in the AL West. First pitch of tonight's contest comes your way right here on 700 ESPN at 6:40. And the Spokane Indians gave up a single run in each of the final 5 innings of their contest to Vancouver last night and lost 5-1. The Indians and Canadians meet up again tonight at Vista Stadium at 6:35.
This year, repurpose your space with Croc Coatings. Whether it's turning your garage into a sleek home gym, transforming your basement into the ultimate man cave, or creating a cozy craft room, Croc Coatings can help you add more usable square footage to your home. They're proud to be the only certified dealer in the area offering Pentec Coating, a cutting-edge polyurea iso base that creates a chemical bond to concrete. That means stronger, longer lasting, and stunningly beautiful floors.
Everything went perfectly. It went exactly as she said it would. The coating that Croc put on solved all the problems. Not only would I recommend Croc Coatings, but I have.
Croc Coatings is locally owned and operated and offers a lifetime manufacturer's warranty. So, what are you waiting for? Transform your home and call Croc Coatings today. Croc Coatings, turning your space into your favorite place. Save now when you go to croccoatings.com/radio. Croc Coatings.
Celebrating 25 years, Dynamic Decks.
You know, we were really one of the first decking contractors in Spokane to start using TimberTech Advanced PVC. It was called AZEC. We really brought that to the forefront of the decking industry in our area, and we continue to use it because it's a top quality product that is backed by the best industry warranty.
Quality decks built right. Dynamic Decks, online at dynamicdecksinc.com.
Productions.
Spring is here, and for many homeowners, they're thinking about selling. But if you've ever wondered what your home might actually sell for if it was marketed the right way? Hi, I'm Robert Henry, co-founder of Haven Real Estate Group. At Haven, we don't just list your home, we launch it with cinematic video tours, drone footage, immersive 3D walkthroughs, and targeted marketing that gets your home in front of serious buyers. Here's the proof. Our listings sell for an average of $12,000 more than those listed by our competitors. That's the Haven difference. And agents, you get access to every tool we offer, included. No hidden fees, no fine print, just real support. So whether you're selling a home or selling real estate, let's talk. Call us today at 509-590-4701 or visit havenrealestategroup.com. Let's make your next move your best one.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Plug into the best local sports talk with Brock and Salk and Wyman and Bob.
We're talking Northwest sports.
Weekdays here on 700 ESPN.
And Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at ProSculpt.com.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Details and disclaimers.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to Shannon Dreyer, our Mariners insider, who joined us in the previous segment. If you guys are just tuning in and missed that conversation or any part of today's show, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab. Scroll down to our picture, click on that, and you'll find it waiting for you right there. We do have Mean Text coming up at 5:15 today. How are they doing, Lefko? Anything coming in that's caught your eye?
No, they're always terrible.
All right.
You know, the texters are just not very bright. They don't know how to... You know, Bob, there's a complex emotion called humor, and you need to be of a certain intelligence to do that. And I'm just a little concerned that
they don't
texters...
possess it?
Yeah, I don't think our texters are up to snuff.
A little
in that regard.
concerned.
Yeah. Jeez. Just a little concerned.
Well, let's see what they can do.
I love it when Lefko, he's typically just the nicest guy in the world, but when it comes to the texters...
Oh, he just lets them have it.
Oh, man.
Gloves are off. Gloves are off when it comes to the texters. All right, 866-979-3776. Any mean text you've got, let it fly. We've got them coming up at 5:15 today. Meanwhile, just talking about the Seahawks and looking at what they did in the draft by going guard with their first overall pick, which was number 18 overall. We were talking about this yesterday with Mark Schlereth. Another great conversation. If you guys missed, is on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. But he talked about, we were sort of, I remember saying, I've said it to you, like, man, I can't believe we're all celebrating a guard being their first round pick. It just feels weird. It's so anticlimactic. It's not the glamour position, but it was such a need that it was a relief for so many fans. And Mark was breaking down why modern offenses have led to interior O-linemen becoming just that much more important.
Guards have been getting paid, and I mean paid handsomely. And I think part of the whole concept is, one, a lot of the NFL is the quick passing game. It's really morphed in from the college game, right? So it's all this quick three-step, out of gun, got to have a strong pocket. You got to have a pocket that doesn't get pushed in the lap of the quarterback, and the guy's got to be able to step up, get away from those edge rushers who are the best, and find avenues to throw the ball and to manipulate the pocket inside.
Yeah, I'm glad you played it again because I kind of blanked out yesterday when we were talking to him about offensive guards being important. But yeah,
tuned him out once the word guard came into the conversation.
It's pretty weird though. If you look at the salary cap numbers or the franchise tag numbers,
yeah,
the guards, man, have climbed up there. So it's the shortest way to the quarterback, right? I mean, it's right through the middle of your line. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that. I wonder if there's going to be kind of a pendulum swing back to valuing not only guards but running backs as well. We've talked about that all the time, but right now it's firmly on quarterbacks and receivers, and then those guys that can cover them, edge rushers right up there. But yeah, offensive guard, just I'll be very curious to see. So we talked to Mark yesterday about, how many guys do you have to have? What if you have 3 of the 5 that are super solid? How much can they help those around them? And I think that will be interesting to see, and maybe a guard just develops. The guy I really want to see is Anthony Bradford more than anybody else. And then I'd like to see that Jalen Sundell kid go at center, and that way you'd have 2 North Dakota State players there. But
what about Christian Haynes?
Yeah, Haynes I don't know about. I didn't see. I mean, he looked really good early on. But you know what? I'd say everybody is kind of up for grabs because, like I said, there was a lot of people that did not like Ryan Grubb's offense on that offense.
One more from Mark here, where he's talking about the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and he said that was a great example of why you need to be strong in the interior.
You always talk about some of the trends and some of the things that happen in the NFL. I think that's one of the trends that I've noticed the last couple of years is like we have got to have strength in the pocket. And if you don't, your quarterback is never comfortable. You can look at the Super Bowl. Look what happened to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. I mean, they got shoved around in the pocket, and Mahomes had no escape lanes, no escape ability, and
yeah. that was very, very obvious, and and look, I think a lot was talked about as far as Philadelphia's D line and how they had second string D line as good as anybody else in the league. So there were certain. But no, he's right. The interior part, like I said, the quickest path to the quarterback is right up the middle. And so, yeah, I mean, that's become more and more. It kind of worries me, though, him saying that, because those are the two positions where we don't really feel like we have a strength.
Yeah.
Right guard and center.
Yeah, and it's still up for grabs who's going to occupy those spots. And, we were looking, during free agency, it was sort of like Will Fries and everybody else is kind of how that crowd went. And obviously, it's much better if you can draft and develop these guys rather than shop on the free agent market because of the price tag that's associated with these guys as well. And Mark addressed that back in early March, explaining why good O-linemen just don't hit free agency.
Yeah, I think you have to draft. You have to hope to be able to draft and develop. And most of the guys that are allowed on offensive lines to hit the free agent market usually are not that good. But I always say this about free agency anyhow, especially the first wave of free agency. You're usually spending A-plus money on B-minus players. Most guys have some flaws in their game, whether it's personality issues, whether it's injury issues, whatever the case may be. Most guys have some flaws in their game.
A-plus money on B-plus players.
Yeah, well, Schneider said that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. But, yeah, I think the other thing that gives me a little bit of pause, Mark also told us at one point that, and we'll see how, I expect to see lots of violence out there when camp starts and the pads go on, because I think, number one, Mike McDonald is that kind of guy. But
who enjoys violence?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He does. And I think.
I like that about him.
Yeah, me too. And the other thing is, I don't know, we had somebody that was on that was talking, I felt the same way. Like, go out there, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, go out there and watch the guys run around in jerseys and shorts. You can't really tell anything.
Right.
You've got to get the pads on. And I'm not trying to, beat these guys up or anything, but I mean, you have to. The only way to practice, picking up a first down is to go and do it. I'm sorry, you can't do it with shorts and a jersey on.
But they're only allowed so much contact, right?
Well,
I mean,
and I think they need to push, right up against that. I think Pete was really good at taking care of the players and everything, but you remember I brought this up a number of times, but Dan Campbell in Hard Knocks, where he's like, guys, I don't want to have to do this, but we have to. And his guys bought in. And so I think this is probably a group that will buy in.
Was he doing it more than? I guess I remember the comment, and at the time it didn't occur to me. But then I'm thinking, all right, well, wait a minute. Every team is only allowed so many days of hitting, right? Mandated by the league. So what was he apologizing for? Was he doing it more than another team would? Like, is Pete giving his guys more days off, or
Number one, just having watched practice over the years, I wasn't sitting there keeping track, but I feel like Pete probably gave guys off or go like, hey, let's just go half speed on this and just get our fits. We're all professionals. We don't need this. Whereas Campbell, he's like, we got to go like even tackle to the ground, I think they were doing, which you never do that in practice.
Right.
It was always thud tempo, what we called it. You hit at the line of scrimmage, get off your block, and then try to just tag the guy or whatever. But
and the running back keep running.
Yeah.
And you'd be going, son of a gun.
And then every once in a while you have to knock one on their butt and get in trouble from the coach. But, yeah, I think you're going to see them pushing the envelope. I don't expect them to be getting fined right and left or losing draft choices because they're going too physical in practice. But I think, Pete had a tendency to like, hey, guys, we're vets. And he was right. We don't need to go full speed and go out there and get all banged up. But, so he'd kind of back off. So I think McDonald's going to kind of push that edge, and they're going to need to.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys missed anything on the show or you just want to go watch it all over again, I don't blame you. You can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms. Find on any segments we've had with or conversations with interviews with Seahawks players, Mariner players, whoever we've talked to. It's all up there for you. So check it out. It's all totally free.
I'll bet you Matt goes home and listens to the show over.
Oh, I know he does.
What do you think?
Yeah. I think he loves it so much. The first pass through, he's like, let me make sure I didn't miss anything.
Make sure you get the hour where the furries were mentioned.
I'm barely even listening the first time this show is on. You expect me to listen a second time?
Our greatest supporter right there. Meanwhile, there's a sports and Catholicism crossover that has taken the country by storm. We're going to hear about that. We sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park at Seattle Sports on 710.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ben the Bear from Valley. VIP auto sales with an important message. If you're in the market for a car, truck, or SUV, whatever you do, don't buy brand new. Go to Valley. VIP auto sales. You save so much money. You could save enough to buy a house. Think new to you. Think Valley. VIP auto sales. The chemicals that cause new car smell can be toxic and may cause health problems. Whatever you do, don't buy new. Go to Valley. VIP Auto Sales. Don't worry about repairs, buying a pre-owned vehicle. Stay protected with a low-cost service contract that works like a warranty. Take your vehicle to the shop of your choice when needed and just pay the deductible at Valley. VIP Auto Sales. Our team of lenders will find the best interest rate with the lowest payment possible. Come in today, put nothing down, and make no payment for 60 days. Genius. Whatever you do, don't buy new. Go to Valley. VIP Auto Sales.
All financing on approved credit.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Spokane County Fair and Expo Center. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit HotTubAndSwimSpaSale.com.
Sale sponsored by Hot Productions.
You could set sail in a brand new Lincoln Corsair. It's the $110,000 Corsair Conquest giveaway. Grand prize drawing May 31st.
Wingman Sport of the Day, brought to you by Espn Sound.
The word is Dallas. D-A-L-L-A-S. Dallas.
Learn how you can become a Wingman winner at 700ESPN.com. Plug into the best local sports talk with Brock and Sulk and Wyman and Bob.
We're talking Northwest sports.
Weekdays here on 700 ESPN.
At seattlesports.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, first I thought Dave would be excited to hear from his guy, Mark DeRosa, because you mentioned the ship analogy, but then we heard that he didn't really like the Mariners, so I don't know how you feel about this. But yeah, Mark DeRosa was very thorough about assigning every part of a Mariner to a ship, and he talked about his unsung heroes portion of the team here.
And then we need a bunch of deckhands to keep the people entertained, catch some fish, keep everybody in good spirits. You watch Below Deck? We're going to start it out with Randy Arozarena. He's keeping everybody in good spirits. How about Rowdy Tellez? He seems like a jolly, nice guy. And hit a huge 3-run bomb to get them back in the game. 7 for 20 with a homer and 6 RBIs over his last 6 games. Friend of the show, Dylan Moore's been fantastic. Revelation. You can argue he's the best utility player in the game. 295 with 6 bombs and an 896 OPS. And Robert, I know my man Brian Wu gave up some runs yesterday, but he gave him 6 strong. He's 13. Yes, he's 13-4 with a 299.
Sounds like he's in love with Dylan Moore.
He is friend of the show, and then they don't even mention him in their panel. They don't even mention the Mariners. After all of that love.
Well, yeah, DeRosa is dead to us now because he picked Houston to win the AL West.
Yeah. They talked about the A's, talked about the Astros, not the Mariners or the Angels.
A's could be the second best team in this division. But yeah, I mean it was pretty cool. The one thing that it kind of brought to mind, I mean, it's always kind of silly, right? You saw the picture. They put Cal in the captain's hat with the pipe and everything, but then they're like pulling up the crab pots, and so they show these crab pots, and there's Kirby and there's Logan Gilbert, and just kind of it's something that's coming. We don't know for sure. Shannon said she was pretty confident about Kirby, but not so much about Logan, that we got to get through it. But I don't know how much longer could it be? I mean, I feel like with Gilbert's, his was kind of, it's not like he had surgery or anything like that.
No, and I don't know if they feel like he's going to need a rehab start, 2 rehab starts with Kirby, who's been out.
Taking a second one, right?
Yeah, and I think Shannon told us he might get one more after that.
Yeah.
But with him, it makes more sense because he hasn't been here since the beginning of the season. They shut him down in spring training.
Right.
So, obviously, Logan went through spring training, the beginning of the season, got a number of starts under his belt, so maybe they don't feel like he needs as much in terms of ramping. I don't know. Well, I'm just throwing that out there, but we'll see. Hopefully, both of them are here soon.
Yeah, it was just surprising that he didn't pick the Mariners, but it was kind of funny. The boat was called the SS Dumper.
Sweeping the dial.
Not sure I thought we'd ever be talking about this. So the new Pope is from Chicago. Everyone's very excited about that. And then all the sports jokes kept flying about, hey, the first Pope to ever have called into sports talk radio. First Pope to ever have complained about the Bears. The Cubs tried to claim him, though. So the Cubs put out a big sign on their marquee saying, the Pope is a Cubs fan. Well, they did some research, and NBC Chicago interviewed the brother of the new Pope, and he says, no. He's a White Sox fan.
Yeah, he was never, ever a Cubs fan, so I don't know where that came from. He was always a Sox fan. Our mother was a Cubs fan. I don't know, maybe that clued in there. And our dad was a Cardinals fan, so I don't know where that all came from. And all the aunts, our mom's family was from the North Side, so that's why they were Cubs fans.
But he rooted for the White Sox.
That's right. But where it came from, I don't know, because he would have been the only one.
You're from Chicago. Do you know the sort of personalities of those two fan bases?
Yeah, they're very different.
I know you're not from Chicago, but you were there for a number
Yeah, I was
of
there
years,
for a little over 5 years. Yeah, they're very different. I guess you would call the White Sox fans more the blue-collar fan, if you will, and the Cubs fans who are often referred to as the snootier, the younger, the party crowd. It's
You said blue-collar? I thought you said white trash.
No, that was your inference.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not something I would say on the air. But yeah, it's a different. There's a clear distinction between the fan bases, certainly. And the new Pope is he's rooting for a team full of losers. Apparently, dreadful team last year. They've got 10 wins this year. Good for him though, hanging tough with his team.
I like that.
He's got enough pride in his team to say, look, I'm with them. Doesn't matter what they're doing.
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, everyone was talking about the George Pickens trade, and Ryan Clark had a pretty interesting breakdown. He said it's pretty telling that if Mike Tomlin, who has coached some characters, doesn't want to deal with George Pickens, well, that's saying something.
Mike Tomlin consistently says he doesn't run from coaching. He doesn't run from teaching. He doesn't run from grooming. And so if George Pickens, with that immense amount of talent, can no longer exist in that locker room, it's going to be difficult for him to exist anywhere. And we're looking at a Jerry Jones who doesn't make moves very often in the offseason, now saying at this price, I have to make this move if I want to make my team better. And so to me, it's how do you handle him? To me, it's how do you incorporate him into the locker room? And we heard Shadi talk recently about the way he moved Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons' lockers next to one another. He better be focused on doing those things and making sure that George Pickens gets the football as well, because it seems that he could tear down a locker room.
Yeah, well, I would imagine he would be on his best behavior because he's in the final year of his deal. And he wants a big fat deal, and he feels like he's one of the great receivers, even though his numbers don't quite tell that story. He's a young guy. But, yeah, that's a pretty interesting point that Mike Tomlin has dealt with some knuckleheads, certainly, and the king of all is Antonio Brown, who's just, beyond the word knucklehead. So he dealt with him and others, certainly. But to say, Pickens, enough, you're out, that says something for Tomlin.
Says a lot. Yeah, on Bump and Stacy, I heard Pickens interviewed, and he did a really good job. He sounded very mature about the whole thing because, the message from Tomlin is that he needs to grow up. And so he said, yeah, it's growth. I need to grow into being a Cowboy receiver and this and that. He totally took the high road on it, which I was kind of surprised. But, yeah, he sounded good. So maybe it is kind of a wake-up call for him. But
yeah, maybe his agent, people around him got to him going, look, man, this is a pivotal year in your career. Again, the final year of your deal. You want to be paid like one of the big boys, you got to act like one of the big boys. You got to play like one.
Yeah.
And you can't go in there with an attitude. You can't go in there thinking you're running the show, because you're not.
If I was an agent, I would have like a list of knuckleheads that could have made it. Who's the quarterback that we just talked about? And I was like, he came out of UCLA and he thought he was...
Josh Rosen.
Rosen. He's a classic example. And just, get a list of those guys. Like, here's a guy that could have been in the league for 15 years as a backup quarterback, maybe fight to be a starter, and couldn't keep his mouth shut. Couldn't get out of his own way. And, yeah, I feel like that's what George Pickens needs. The fact that he's a receiver, give him low odds that he's able to do that. But, yeah, it's it's amazing how you see guys just entirely destroy their career just because of their personality.
That was emblematic of how things have gone for the Blue Jays. They tried to toss the ball over to one of their fans and came up just a bit short. And it fell into the little crevice here between the wall and the railing. Unfortunately, the Blue Jay fan didn't come up with the ball. So just sort of how things have gone.
Thinking they just got off the bus.
I think you're probably right, yeah. All right, meanwhile, he's got a couple of starts under his belt. We're going to get a chance to speak to rookie pitcher Logan Evans about all of that. Plus, we got mean text coming up, so you still have some time at 866-979-3776, powered by us, by God, by us. Wyman and Bob, live from Edgar's Cantina at T-Mobile Park at Seattle Sports on 710.
I'm Steve the Wingman with the 700 ESPN Spokane Sports Center. The Spokane Chiefs take the ice tonight in Medicine Hat for Game 1 of the Western Hockey League Championship Series. The Chiefs and Tigers only met once in the regular season. Medicine Hat scored 3 third-period goals to come away with a 3-2 victory in Spokane in January. The puck drops tonight north of the border at 6 o'clock. The Seattle Mariners are